I think you all know Final Fantasy is the big JRPG. You don't even have to play it, but you know what it is. However, Final Fantasy was not one of the first JRPGs of its time. That record goes to the underrated series Dragon Quest. Let me take you back when Dragon Quest initially released. Dragon Quest was released in Japan in 1986 and in 1989 in North America. The North American version had undergone a different name known as Dragon Warrior. In Japan, the game was published by Enix. This was before Squaresoft and the Enix merger. They were rivals at the time. In 1989, Nintendo published the game instead of Enix in North America. At the start, the game did not do as well, so Nintendo had to come in with a plan. Nintendo had made an offer. If you signed up for Nintendo Power, you'd get a free copy of Dragon Warrior.
Get ready for the biggest offer in history from Nintendo!
Get a free Dragon Warrior game pack when you subscribe to Nintendo Power. A free game pack worth $40 plus 12 big issues of scorching power tips and wicked video maps for just $15.
Beat that!
Plus an explorer's handbook to help you master the dragons and knights, skeletons and slime. But act now, supplies are limited. Call 1-800-341-3000 for your free Dragon Warrior game pack and 12 big issues of Nintendo Power. Just $15. Call now!
The plan was a success, and many people were able to experience the original Dragon Warrior. 3 more sequels followed for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which each becoming less favored in terms of sales. With the marketing promotion out of the way, let's discuss Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is one of the first Japanese role-playing games. It is considered the grandfather of JRPGs. Considering how many JRPGs came after Dragon Quest, the game was always an inspiration to those. Not many people talk about Dragon Quest. It is underrated. That is if you are a Westerner. If you are in Japan, the game is very big, and a lot of people are into the game. The Dragon Quest phenomenon is unimaginably big in Japan. I cannot tell you how big it is. In the Western, it is not really talked about, mostly because Westerners prefer the greatness of Final Fantasy. They view Dragon Quest as kiddie and childish, but in reality it is a fun game. The game was a collaboration of 3 people. Yuji Horii, who created Dragon Quest. He was inspired by many games such as Wizardry, Ultima, and his own game, the Portopia Serial Murder Case. He also had manga artist and creator of Dragon Ball Akira Toriyama, hence the art being very similar. He also hired musical genius Koichi Sugiyama. The game has been ported a lot, from the Nintendo Entertainment System to the Nintendo Switch. I'll be playing the Nintendo Switch version. As I'll be discussing Dragon Quest on Nintendo Switch, I'll discuss the gameplay there. In this game, you are on a quest. You play as a hero and you must travel your way to battle the Dragon Lord. In order to do this, you go out in the field, fight enemies, level up and get gold, and go through shops to upgrade your equipment. First game is really focused on grinding, and you take a lot of time fighting enemies. I wouldn't say it's hard, but you have to be well equipped and well leveled to fight a lot of these enemies. I would enter towns and buy weapons and camp around. I'm mostly focused on getting gold. Let me discuss the combat system. You would stumble on an enemy around the field. When you fight an enemy, you take turns. Defeating the enemy gives you experience points and gold. You spend a lot of time during this rather than moving on the mission. If you die in the game, you are sent back to the King's Castle and you lose half your gold. Speaking of the King's Castle, this is the only place to save in the game. You have to walk all the way back to the castle. You have a big overview map to look at where you are around the game. It is a simple game, perhaps as simple as anyone could pick it up and understand easily. The game is about exploring and trying to find the end. Truthfully, the game does not take long to beat. It is a very short game. In the game, the music plays and it's mostly the same. It is synthesized. Because it is synthesized, the composer is very stingy about his music usage and does not let orchestrated versions be allowed on his game, aside from a couple occasions. Unfortunately, I'm unable to find any synthesized version of the game's soundtrack, so I'll let you listen to a couple of the orchestrated tunes. The song reminds me a lot of the classical music genre. Dragon Quest is a very enjoyable game. It is a JRPG classic and a leader of JRPG games. It reserves the title of the grandfather of JRPGs. While I spent most of the time grinding the game, I still did manage to find it enjoyable. I grinded and picked up a lot of armor in the game. If you are trying to get into JRPGs or just a gamer looking for a short and quick game, I suggest the very first Dragon Quest. While it does not have much compared to later entries and it does take a lot of grinding, I'll say it's very enjoyable and give it a go. I think that's all I have to say about this. Check this out if you can.